that you're not going to glean much information, so here you go. That's the,
Got it. Got it. The question I was going to ask was, why are, say, sonographers or radiologists, not always on the fence, do you think, when it comes to diagnosing a capsular contracture or a rupture? Like you said, unless it's fully obvious, they won't.
Because they are potentially sending someone to surgery. And they don't want to make, the report that they generate based on that ultrasound is what will either send someone to the OR or spare someone the trip to the OR. And in the medical legal environment that we all live in, you don't want to necessarily make the kind of call that would falsely, either recommend surgery when surgery is not necessarily indicated, or vice versa, not recommend surgery when surgery clearly is indicated. So they don't do it. They hedge.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I understand is one of the limitations of ultrasound is, the inability to see the posterior wall of the implant really well. It really is so operator dependent that you have to make sure that the person scanning covered the whole implant and didn't miss any portions of it. Is that true?
It is true. You're not wrong. Ultrasound is very operator dependent. It's also very machine dependent in terms of the quality of the equipment that you use. But yes, there's a human element. And ultrasound much more so than probably any other imaging modality than we do.
Okay. So some of those, if those issues were addressed, the operator dependency was maybe, not taken away, but reduced, and posterior imaging, or posterior wall imaging of the implant was improved with better image quality. Do you foresee ultrasound being used a little bit more commonly for your kind of practice?
Well, I think that, again, I'm not sure how they plan to address the operator dependency, but, one of the issues with the operator of the ultrasound is how many studies that person performs, right? Because you get better as you do more. So, people who are ultrasonographers do high volume of cases, and perhaps it would be easier to reduce operator dependency with new equipment for them than it is for someone like me, who I'm not an ultrasonographer. I'm a surgeon, right? How many people am I really going to scan in my office with my ultrasound and actually make a clinical decision based on that scan alone? What I can say is it's quite likely that if I have an ultrasound like that, it's very easy for me to put the probe on someone. And if I see something suspicious, I can give a better clinical history to where I'm sending him for an actual formal study. But the truth is, if I don't see anything, other than offering a peace of mind to the patient right then and there, I'm not necessarily going to say, okay, we're done. You don't have capsular contracture. You don't have a rupture, because I just did an ultrasound on you and I don't see it. I don't see that happening anytime soon. I'm still going to send them out for a study. Okay.
And that study that you send them out would be an ultrasound or an MR?
I may try to send them straight for the MR simply because that is the gold standard. And, I may say bypass the formal ultrasound because mine has been inconclusive and I've, received this kind of training, right? Because, again, the insurance company's going to put up a fight. I'm going to have to, if I send somebody for the ultrasound outside of the office, I don't hear anything back until that ultrasound report comes back. I don't have to waste my time speaking to an insurance company whose job it is to deny my request. Instead, it's easy. Okay, if I do an ultrasound in the office, I haven't necessarily helped anybody, and I've now given myself more work right? Because now if I'm not